Emma from Pay Weekly Flooring. Today we're going to run through your home starter kit and we're going to show you how to measure your rooms correctly. Okay, let's go through your home starter kit. So firstly, you'll receive a flyer. It's very important, there's lots of information on there, so please pay close attention to your flyer. A choice of 3 samples. Obviously, I've got laminate, vinyl and carpet, but this will be unique to you as a customer. We've also got a survey sheet. We will be going through this as we measure each room. So we're going to jump straight into measuring this room. I've asked my friend Jo to help me today, and you might want to do the same. So Jo is going to hold my tape measure and she's going to put it nice and tight to that skirting board, which is the longest point of the room. I'm going to run it across to the longest point this side, which is a 3.4. We are going to call that 3.5 just so we know we've got enough carpet. This is where our survey sheet comes in. So we know the width of this room we're calling a 3.5. And we're going to do exactly the same on the other side of the room. Thank you. So we want to come just slightly out of the room, just so we know we've got enough carpet, and that's a 3.7. We're going to call that a 3.8, so we've got a bit to play with. So we've got a 3.5 by 3.8. All carpets come 4 metres wide. So the size of this room would be a 3.5 by 4. So now that leads us on to measuring our stairs and landing. We're going to keep this as simple as possible for you, but I am going to need some help from Jo. Are you all right just to push that right down?
There we go.
So just like before, we want to get right down to that skirting board. And as you can see, we're just over 4.8 here, but there is something to bear in mind. We have a doorway that is set slightly further back, so we will need to take that measurement as well, which is 10 centimetres. So we've got our 4.8 and we're going to need to add that on so we get a true representation of our longest point, which will be 4.9. So for the stairs landing, we've drawn you a nice little grid which tells you that our carpets are 4 metres wide. So as we always add 10 centimetres, we are going to make that, draw a little line just across to the 5 because we know that is our longest point of our landing. So we've got our length, now we're going to get our width. So I am going to need Jo's help again, and she's going to hold that just on that door bar for me. So we're going to run across straight over to this door, which we know is 2.9. But of course, we're going to add our 10 centimetres, which we're going to call our width a 3 metre wide. So we're going to take that straight back and we're going to put that straight onto our grid. Draw from the line we did for our length, straight across to 3 metres. And that is the most important part of measuring our stairs landing. So it's important to remember that stairs and landings do come in lots of shapes and sizes. Today we've measured an L-shaped landing and our longest point was from wall to wall. If you had a smaller landing, it may be that the longest point of your landing is this measurement here. And it's very important to make sure that you come off of the landing and down to that first step, and that would be the longest point of some landings. So something we didn't come across today was any unusual shaped stairs. So they can be triangle shaped, a rounded shaped. I won't use the correct terminology because I don't want to confuse anybody, but it's really simple. If you do have any of these funny shaped steps, as we call them, you can just simply class that as 2 steps.
You'll see on our grid these extra boxes. This is because each step on the stairs you are measuring counts as 1 metre or 2 squares on the grid. So if you have 12 steps on your stairs, you would mark this as 24 boxes on the grid.
So as you can see on our first plan, we've just used 1 grid across. For any of those triangle shaped steps or funny steps, you can just use 2 step spaces, which will be enough to cover that. I know that stairs landings can be a little bit daunting and some people find them a little bit complicated. But I do have a trick for you. If you are still struggling, if you was to measure the longest part of the landing, add 1 metre onto that measurement, a general rule of thumb that would be enough carpet to cover that area. So we're now going to measure up a typical kitchen. The most common product that will go into the kitchen is a vinyl flooring. Again, I'm going to ask Jo to help me. So we need to go wall to wall. And the reason we're not going on the floor this time is because we need to get this measurement right back to the wall behind the oven. So we have a 4.2. As in all the other rooms, we're going to add our 10 centimetres and we're going to write down 4.3. Our next measurement will be our widest point. And as before, it will need to go straight into the doorway. So that's a 310. Again, we're going to add our 10 centimetres and we're going to write down 320. So something to bear in mind when you are picking your vinyl design is which way you'd like your pattern to run. So obviously if it's a tile, it doesn't really matter. It's a square tile, it doesn't matter which way it runs in the room. If you're choosing a wood plank, it could go that way, or you may want it to run that way. So when we put this onto our survey sheet, we know our length was 4.3 and our width was 3.2. We're going to need an arrow just so that we know which way you would like that design to run. As a summary for this kitchen, what we would want to order is a 4.3 of 4. So we've moved on to the hallway. I love hallways, they're quick and easy. I'm just going to run the tape measure down to the longest points, bearing in mind, very much like the kitchen, that we must go straight into that doorway, which is 490. I'm just going to quickly jot that down and then I'm going to do the width. Again, into the doorway, which is 190. Don't forget, if we are choosing vinyl for this hallway, we would need to put the direction. We've moved on to the bathroom. It's going to be very similar to the kitchen. We've picked a herringbone design vinyl. And again, we're just going to measure, with a little bit of help from Jo, wall to wall. So our longest point is a 2.2. We're going to round that up to a 2.3. Our longest point is a 1.8 and we're going to round that up to a 1.9. So in this room, I want my design to run this way. So what I want to order to make my design run that way is a 1.9 of 3. You may want to turn it the other way around so that your herringbone design is running that way across your bathroom. So in that case, you would want to order a 2.3 of 2. I'm now going to measure up for a lounge. You can use any of Pay Weekly products in here. We have carpet, laminate or vinyl. Jo's going to hold the tape measure again and we're going to see what the longest point is. Right down to the other room, takes us to 4.9. We're going to add our 10 centimetres and the length of this room is 5 metres long. We're going to go straight in to measure the width. Now, something you have to bear in mind in a room like this is the actual widest part of this room goes right into this recess. Over to the door, straight out, adding now 10 centimetres gives us 3.8. So this room, what we would need is a 5 by 4. Don't forget, if we are talking about vinyl or laminate, we would need your arrow just so we know which direction you need your flooring to be running. We're measuring additional spaces, there's no need to overcomplicate it, just remember, measure wall to wall. Thank you for watching our video today. You should now know how to measure your own house for your new flooring. You can also help your friends and family. If you do need any help, please feel free to contact us. I hope you enjoy your new flooring.
Pay weekly for the people.